Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ali Farooq with another program with Hamza Ali Basi. Hamza, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Ali bhai. Hope aap theek thaak honge.
Hamza, we are very lucky that we are using this forum that is really newly designed, and Ustad Gandhi Sahab has done few shows over here.
Yes, and you gotta love his aesthetics, the way he's chosen the word, and you have to love Farhan bhai's and Hassan bhai's effort.
No, but it's a good point, experiencing Ustad, we find the aesthetic sense and the ability to like things that are nice.
وہ ہے نا کہ اللہ تعالیٰ خود بھی خوبصورت ہے, and he loves beauty, and he wants that his people should also love beauty, he should also love elegance. کہ اللہ کے بندے وہ ہیں جو بڑے فطرتاً طور پہ بڑے نفیس لوگ ہوتے ہیں.
I mean, and I would like to do a detailed topic with that, because the first time I ever heard Ustad was an Alif program talking about beauty.
اچھا,
Jamaliyat.
حصہ جمالیات.
Yeah, it was a beautiful topic. That's the first time I ever found out. I never knew he was a religious scholar actually. At that point I thought he's a philosopher.
He does give that vibe. He doesn't look like a traditional Islamic scholar.
So today I wanted to focus on an element, because I when you're talking like last few times, probably the first program we had, you talked a lot about women in your life. You talked about your mother, your wife, your sister. And I really wanted to, bring up casually, as we were in the last few sessions as well, what should be the woman's role? And, if you look at my experiences, especially you're talking about Southern Asia as well, where we came from, but also a lot of times the society we have here in the US, you feel they're cornered, right? And they're smart. And they can do a lot, and if you give them the platform, they'll go and rise above. They can be in Air Force, and they can fly planes. They can be in banking and run the entire bank, a multinational bank. So where do you stand on that?
I stand on that where Allah Ta'ala stands. It doesn't matter what I believe about what a woman's role should be or what she should do. We should seek what Allah Ta'ala has said, especially us Muslims, right? So Allah Ta'ala has said very clearly that for him, both men and women are equal, except who is more pious. Both men and women have equal capabilities. Yes, they have different roles in societies, but equal capabilities. And hence we see so many examples from the life of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. For example, a woman warrior who fought alongside the Prophet. Warrior with a sword. Sahaba would joke about her. I have her name written down, but it's too difficult. Sahaba joked about it, that if Khalid bin Walid and she fought, probably she'd win. Then the first magistrate of Medina, appointed by who? Hazrat Umar, a woman. The first university of Islam, established by a woman, Fatima al-Fari, 800 AD. So, for us Muslims, we should really, with an unbiased mind, seek what Allah Ta'ala has said about women. And what He has said, they're all equally capable, have different roles to play, but equally capable. Maybe in some ways more capable. Yeah,
I mean, that's what you see. I mean, no matter what forum you give, and a lot of times you'll see they're exceeding. When we were in college, in my high school and in college, you'll see that most of the time people who were getting better in academics were actually women, right?
They're better rulers.
Then why does the society right after that, and this is an example of my friends, what happened? What happened to them, right? They go into a real life, and then they a lot of times are cornered.
Because our society is a very patriarchal. Our societies, men have always had an upper hand when it comes to having a say in the society, right? So I think that it's a cultural thing, and I believe that it's damaging our society, it's damaging women. Women are going through so much trouble, especially in our society. And we Pakistanis, our masla ye hai ki we don't want to accept that there is something wrong in our society. We take it as Pakistan bashing. It's not Pakistan bashing. There is a lot of problems for women. And I would advise women کہ اگر ان کو کوئی کہے نا کہ اسلام میں یہ ہے, do double check on your own self کہ if it's true or not, because in our society we're also using very actively Islam to suppress them. Because it gives us a religious backing to oppress them. That needs to change. I mean, my concern is not cultural. Culture evolves, culture takes hundreds of years. My problem comes when Islam is brought onto the table.
The whole argument is about Islam, and again, you talk about when you're raising a daughter, when you marry and have a wife, or you have a mother. Sometimes the treatment for mothers is much better in the cultural standpoint also. I'm talking about the society in Pakistan, but in general, it's all about, okay, yaar, mujhe chai leke aa do, right? And that whole sense of this chauvinism that comes out of it is and the whole argument is that you are supposed to be.
It's not backed up by Islam. It's, I think, taken in the wrong context, and it seems like it backs up. The male chauvinism is not backed up by Islam.
Not the male yeah, I mean, the point is that the reasoning you use a lot of Islamic verses and Islamic ahadith and other Islamic traditional thoughts and thought processes to explain that you are supposed to do this while I'm supposed to step out and have fun, and you can go and take care of 5 kids
and have
and
4
cook
wives,
food and then also
and
wake
also
up in the morning,
concubines.
and don't forget to pray as well, and make sure the kids also learn praying. I'm going to do whatever, you're not supposed to ask me.
Exactly. That when it comes to men, they would make sure, those men who like that, I mean, of course, we're not like that, right? You're not like that, right?
I hope not.
But men who like that, I mean, let's face it, they'd use anything. They'd use to convince themselves, to justify this behavior to themselves. Some men will use religion, some will use culture, some will use honor, some will use other things. It's just a male psychological problem that, yes, men have been and are physically a little more stronger, physically, not emotionally. Yes, they've had traditionally the responsibility of bringing the bread onto the table, of earning a living, especially pre-industrial revolution era, when women couldn't do the kind of labor that men did. Yes, Allah Ta'ala has made a man the provider for a family. Yes, Allah Ta'ala has made him the, let's say, the CEO of a family, but Allah Ta'ala has also told him to be a nice person. Allah Ta'ala has also told him to lower his gaze and guard his modesty. Allah Ta'ala has also told him کہ رزق حلال کماؤ, بیوی کے ساتھ اچھا بہیو کرو. سو مردوں کو چاہیے کہ سب سے پہلے وہ خود they should get آگاہی لینی چاہیے, they should get the knowledge کہ اللہ تعالیٰ ان سے کیا چاہتے ہیں. ہمارے مردوں کا فوکس سارا یہ ہوتا ہے کہ اللہ تعالیٰ عورت سے کیا چاہتے ہیں. That's a big problem.
And that's the hypocrisy, right? Of course, everyone needs to be within the categories and the realm given to them, but the focus is کہ آپ پردہ کر لیں, آپ گھر میں رہ جائیں. The person who's actually telling them himself, whatever he executes, is not a concern.
And by the way, یہ بھی clear ہونا چاہیے کہ we believe here کہ the traditional concept of parda, we believe that's not in Islam. So that happens whenever I put something up. There are people who go like, oh, so you're going to tell us about Islam because the women in your house, you can't even cover them up. Number one, it's not your responsibility. Allah ka wasta, let women be. Don't become daroge on them and go like, it's my responsibility. If I don't cover them up, I'll be answerable to God. No, everyone will be answerable for their own deeds. This is a problem. We believe women should dress modestly, جیسے قرآن میں لکھا ہوا ہے. یہاں پہ here in Islam we believe that women should dress modestly. زینت کو اللہ تعالیٰ نے بس کہا ہے کہ اگر زینتیں ہوئی ہوں تو اس کو تھوڑا چھپا لیں. باقی we don't believe here کہ you have to be covered up in a way. The veil, the cover. It's your choice. I mean, if a woman wants to wear a veil, let her wear a veil.
Of course.
But if you say that no, Allah Ta'ala has specifically said that you wear certain kinds of clothing, and if you don't wear that, you're going to burn in hell forever. That's not true.
And also culturally, some societies are better off because the way the culture is that they wear and wear the veil and what, I mean, look at the tribal regions probably, but it's not something that you have to based on.
It's culture.
It's culture.
When it comes to Allah Ta'ala, we have to see کہ Allah Ta'ala نے اپنے دین میں کیا کہا ہے, right?
Yeah. And by the way, for everyone who's watching, this is obviously Hamza and I talking, and this is how we perceive. We are not scholars. Just want to make sure that people take it as if how we are trying to understand and bring the taboos.
Yeah, and I hope people also realize that within Islam, there are voices who are different than the mainstream voices. So within Islam also, you should go and check all of the voices.
Yeah.
وہ ایک نہیں ہوتی کہ ایک ہی کو پکڑ لیا آپ نے اور اس کو follow kar.
No, you mentioned, and I think there's some controversial topics. I don't want to go into that level of detail, but I want to focus on basically us talking about together how to give space to women.
To women.
Right?
It's very tragic that we have to give space to women. Very tragic that men have to give space to women.
But that's how the society is.
It's very tragic. Very tragic.
So let's talk about what could be the few things in which men think about it. And they think about that maybe this is something I can do, because the other person is also a human being, and not only just a human being, but also equal to us.
Yeah, I would just say that for all those who say we are Muslims and they're men, just go and look at the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just go and look at the Quran and go look at what you need to do as a man as a husband, as a father, as a brother, you need to educate yourself first. You need to be a better husband, a better father. You will be answerable for yourself on the day of judgment. When it comes to your daughters, your mother, your sister, your wife, whatever you believe about how women should be, whatever, it could be anything that you believe. You could be a man who believes that a woman should be covered up and locked up in her room all the time. Be that man. Fine, it's your world. But you cannot enforce. You can't force your women to act or behave or dress in a certain way. You can't force anybody, let alone women. It should be their own decision. What they want to wear, what they want to do. It should be their decision, not yours. Your job is to keep educating them.
Yeah.
And let them decide. Jab Allah Ta'ala has given all of us free will, so who are you to enforce something on people?
Yeah. And if we believe that something is right, if the other person is able to conclude on their own that that's the right thing, they will actually do it for long term.
They will do it from here.
Right.
For example, for all those husbands who believe that their wives should be covered up head to toe, even though we believe Allah Ta'ala has not instructed that to women. But if you are that man and you believe that a woman should be covered head to toe, educate her, convince her, right? If you force it, or if you say, oh, if you love me, then wear a niqab. She'll wear a niqab, but where will she stand with that niqab on the day of judgment of Allah Ta'ala? She didn't do it for Allah Ta'ala, she did it for you. If you force her, she will do it for you again because she's scared of you. But she won't have anything in front of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala balke aapko pakdenge aake.
And I know dress code is important, but I think the more important than that is actually the capacity and the space that they need to deliver their own aspirations, right? That's where I think it's more even...
Yeah, we need to see them as human beings.
As human beings, they have skills, they have talent, they have desires.
They have brains, they have a heart, sometimes much bigger than men. They want to feel accomplished. They want to feel... Every human wants to feel accomplished, every human being. The problem is we see women... Not we shouldn't generalize it, but many of us see women as second-class creation. Isn't it a misnomer in Islam that a woman was created from Hazrat Adam's rib?
A lot of people will bring up so many verses from Quran to prove that point.
مرد عورتوں پہ قوام ہے, ٹھیک ہے. اسلام کے اندر مرد اور عورت ایکول ہیں. we're talking about gender roles in a family. وہ ڈفرنٹ ہیں. مرد فیملی کا پرووائڈر ہے, اس کو اللہ نے ایک ہائی پوزیشن دی ہے. عورت جو ہے وہ بٹ اٹ ہیز نتھنگ ٹو ود میل اینڈ فیمیل بیکاز ماں کی پوزیشن ہائر ہے باپ سے. سو دوز مین دا ویمن شوڈ آسک دیم ٹو گو گیٹ ایجوکیٹڈ اباؤٹ دس. اللہ تعالیٰ نے کہیں یہ نہیں کہا کہ مرد عورت سے سپیریئر ہے. میں آپ کو ڈنکے کی چوٹ پہ کہہ رہا ہوں, کہیں بھی نہیں کہا. آپ کوئی ورس لے کے آ رہے ہیں.
Growing up, we heard about Surah Nisa, Islam, and which says, and again, I don't want to make it a scholarly discussion. We are having more based on what we learn as students, right?
I'm writing it down to you. Will never
I can never
find
in
me
my
a verse.
mind believe that Islam will tell us, Allah Ta'ala will say you can beat women. I just can't comprehend
Allah Ta'ala is not saying that you can beat women. I was stuck on that verse, and we've had that discussion, right? And it's so odd that we're talking about women and there's no woman on it. It's just men talking about women as usual. There is one, I don't think she'd want to come here. But sorry, what are we talking about again? Surah Nisa. So I was stuck on that ayat. But when I read it, when I finally, Ghamidi Sahab played a huge role, and Numan Ali Khan's explanation is also great. And a few women scholars, Allah Ta'ala has not instructed you to go beat your wife. That ayat is... I just had a kid.
This is your understanding about that.
This is my understanding, and I'm taking it as it's written there.
Okay.
Trust me, if you literally take it, it makes sense. I have a kid right now. He's about 4 months old, right? I know how important both parents are for that kid. You know, he searches for us. When I come in front of him, he gives a smile. When Naimal comes in front of him, he gives a smile. Imagine now you take away one of that parent. Imagine take away both of those parents. Imagine you have a split family. Imagine you have a split house. آپ دیکھتے ہیں شادی کو اپنے پوائنٹ آف ویو سے. مجھے پیار ہو گیا, مجھے عشق ہو گیا, آئی لو یو, وین آئی گیٹ میرڈ ٹو یو. اللہ تعالیٰ قرآن میں شادی کو بچے کے پوائنٹ آف ویو سے دیکھ رہے ہیں. دیٹ انفنٹ, دیٹ چائلڈ, اف ہی از ناٹ, اگر اس کی صحیح تربیت نہیں ہوئی, ہی کین گرو اپ ٹو بی اینی تھنگ. ہی کوڈ گرو اپ آل دا سیریل کلرز بائی دا وے ان دا ورلڈ. Literally all the serial killers, broken families, broken parents, لڑ رہے ہیں آپس میں. اللہ تعالیٰ نے قرآن میں فرام دا چائلڈس پوائنٹ آف ویو فیملی پہ اتنی امپورٹنس ڈالی ہے کہ یار یا تو ڈونٹ گیٹ میرڈ, ڈونٹ ہیو کڈس, ڈونٹ, بٹ ونس یو ٹیک دیٹ اسٹیپ اینڈ دیٹ کڈ از ان دس ورلڈ, اللہ تعالیٰ کہتے ہیں یہ طریقہ میں نے اختیار کیا بچے کو دنیا میں بھیجنے کا.
So what I'm understanding so far, and you can explain further, is that you think the institution of family is extremely important, and that's how,
It is so vitally important for that new human being یار جو دنیا میں لے کے آئے.
especially if you're bringing kids to the world,
And Allah Ta'ala is
and then
saying,
everyone has their own roles to play.
yes, their own roles to play. The man and the woman, remember, equal. Husband and wife میں فرق ہے, man اور woman نہیں ہے. The same woman, remember, as a mother she has an upper hand.
Yeah.
تو جینڈر رولز اس فیملی کے انسٹیٹیوشن میں ڈیفائن کیے ہیں. نو انسٹیٹیوشن کین run successfully without you determining roles. There has to be a CEO, there has to be a manager. Same is the case with family. That is why وہ جو سورہ نساء کی آیت 34 ہے اس کو غور سے پڑھیں. وہ کہتی ہے کہ نشوز اگر ہو جائے, اٹس ریبیلین. فیملی ہے, بچے موجود ہیں, ہماری سوسائٹی نہیں ہے. ہو سکتا ہے یہ واقعہ 90 چٹی میں پیش آ جائے, ہو سکتا ہے یہ واقعہ انٹیریئر سندھ کے عمر کوٹ میں پیش آ جائے. کیا کریں گے؟ ریبیلیس ہو گئے, ہسبینڈ کو ہسبینڈ ماننے کے لیے تیار نہیں, بچوں کو بچہ ماننے کے لیے تیار نہیں. کیا کہا؟ اچھا اوپر سے چیٹ بھی کر دیا. نشوز از ویری بگ تھنگ. کیا کہا؟ سمری میں یہ کہہ رہا ہوں کہ وہ آیت یہ ہے کہ اگر ایسے موقع پہ جہاں 2, 3, 4 مہینے گزر گئے, بات کرنا چھوڑ دی, بستر میں چھوڑ دیا, اکیلے ہو گئے, سب کچھ ٹوٹنے لگا, اس موقع پہ اگر ہاتھ اٹھ گیا
For the sake of the institution.
ٹو سیو دیٹ انسٹیٹیوشن, اگر ہاتھ اٹھ گیا اللہ تعالیٰ کہتے ہیں میں معاف کر دوں گا. یہ بیسکلی وہ آیت میرے لیے ہے.
That's how you
کیونکہ اپارٹ فرام دس اسپیسیفک کنڈیشن یو ہٹ یور وائف, یو ہٹ یور ڈاٹر, you hit people, اللہ تعالیٰ قیامت دن پوچھیں گے آپ سے کھڑا کر کے.
So to simplify, I think Hamza, for the audience, again, this is your interpretation, and I think you took few names for people. We can also go and some few renowned scholars as well.
Yep.
But the main point you're making is that you don't take it for granted. It's not something you can execute just for the whip of it because it says in Quran. It's not that. There's a whole background behind it. It takes an institution. It takes a nature.
It's a very big thing. You should ponder over those words.
So by the whip of it, please don't. Yeah, and you're not allowed.
You're not allowed
to hit women.
Not at all. No.
All right. So Hamza, we as students, we are just trying to perceive how we think about it. But I think for me, it was a very critical topic, and I hope we did justice with it.
No, we can't do justice with it in like 5 minutes, obviously. But I would highly recommend that you go and check out Javed Ahmed Khamati Saab's video on it. And there is also a video of Numan Ali Khan. It's called something where he's talking very casually over coffee. اس کے کوئی نام ہے, that's messed up. It's called That's Messed Up.
And these are people who have actually studied and read and then come up with a perspective.
So I'd highly recommend go on YouTube, type That's Messed Up Numan Ali Khan, قرآن 434 آیت یا وائف کے اوپر تو آ جائے گا. He's explained it very well.
Very good. So let's just wrap up the session. I just want to again talk about, because we mentioned a few times about space. So let's give some message to the audience who are watching, when they look at women as a daughter, as a wife, as a mother, how should they go back after listening to this and think about so that they can execute in that space?
You just said that, how they look at their women as their wives, as their mothers, as their sisters. My only request is look at them as human beings. First, equal human beings like you. First, a woman is an equal human being in the sight of Allah Ta'ala. And then she is your mother or sister or daughter or whoever. So just treat her, respect her, just like you would do any other human being.
Very good. Hamza, thank you.
Thank you so much, anyway. Always a pleasure.
And guys, we'll come back with more topics. Hamza is here until he's in Dallas. We'll record a few more, and once he's gone, we'll do few Zoom.
Inshallah.
Right? Inshallah. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Allah Hafiz.